Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and happy Mother's Day to all of you. I know 99.9% of my viewers are male, at least according to YouTube analytics, but statistically there has to be at least 2 moms that watch me, right? Maybe my own, who knows? Regardless, today we're talking about skill-based matchmaking. I know it's crazy. Can't believe it. It's a topic that's never been covered here on YouTube before. We're really blazing new trails here on NerosCinema. But this new experiment that Sledgehammer Games has been doing is really making me lose my mind. But ultimately, I think it's probably good for the game as a whole. So the first couple of clips you guys have been seeing here, these are the first 3 games I had tonight when I hopped on after all the Mother's Day festivities and the family and things like that. My first game of Minefield, which I've discussed in many videos, I don't believe is skill-based matchmaking. We have a 1-point difference in the match, like 75-74. That's pretty sus if you ask me. And then immediately after that, we lose, 73-75. And then the game after that, they throw us into a lobby where everybody is over 100 ping. What is happening? I genuinely thought, I even tweeted about it, it seems like they're doing more experimentation with Minefield as a game mode and skill-based matchmaking as a whole. We do know for a fact, they've come out and said it directly within their blog post, that they do run tests about removing matchmaking within the algorithm in certain game modes and at certain times. They never try to tell us when that's happening because they want to gather as much data as they can without skewing the numbers and skewing the data by people knowing that skill-based matchmaking is turned off. But, Minefield itself is a game mode that I personally feel like never had skill-based matchmaking. Then I hop on today and things were just ridiculous. It was like every other game mode, where the games are all really close. The teams are just so perfectly balanced that every lobby ends up a final score within 2 or 3 kills. Then on top of that, you've had really bad connection throughout a number of these lobbies. For example, this one here that I jumped into, it just ended, I guess. I don't know what really happened. And obviously, because lobbies is fanned, I have no idea whether or not this was just me. My internet was fine. I was having no issues on my end, but the server just completely died, completely took a shit. And I'm like, man, are they really about to give us no skill-based matchmaking in Minefield, which has been so ridiculously fun? I'm not even joking, the most fun I've had in Modern Warfare 3 since the game came out. Are they really going to change that now because they want to treat us like guinea pigs? Well, then I kept on playing, right? Because obviously, if they're going to be adding more skill-based matchmaking to the game mode, I figured I would make a video on it. But then I kept playing for another hour and a half or so. And then things kind of went back to normal, which is making me lose my mind. But ultimately, like I said, I think this is how the game should be. I think it's entirely possible that I was wrong. I know, believe it or not, it's never happened before. But I think I was wrong when I initially made my assessment in my tweet saying, man, I think they add skill-based matchmaking back to Minefield. Because after playing it more for, again, another hour and a half or whatever, everything pretty much went back to normal. Everything started to feel good. Some matches were sweaty. Some matches were not. Some matches I genuinely felt like I was playing against bots, and everything in between. That is how COD matchmaking should be, man. That is how it should be. Those matches where it's 75-74, back in the day, those used to be really rare. They used to be really intense. And it was holy shit, they were memorable because of how close the game was. Well, because of skill-based matchmaking, that stuff happens a dime a dozen. We have 4 or 5 of those matches every single play session, And so when I started my day off by having those, I thought, here we go, skill-based matchmaking's back. But then I kept on playing, and then I'm like, wait a minute, no, I don't think there is any skill-based matchmaking still in this game mode, because I'm having lobbies where I'm going on 20+ kill streaks routinely, and I'm not a 20+ kill streak player. Hell, here are my Minefield stats right now. These are not my stats, man, at least in the game with skill-based matchmaking. I feel like as a normal COD player, then sure, these are my stats, but if you look at my overall stats in Modern Warfare 3, they're not even half of the numbers that you're seeing here within the Minefield game mode because of skill-based matchmaking, and how because if you are a good player, they want to punish you as much as humanly possible. I genuinely feel like when I'm playing Minefield, I'm playing old COD. And I know some people may not like it because people may not like the team deathmatch aspect. In fact, I don't like TDM at all. Team deathmatch is one of my least favorite game modes, but Minefield makes it more interesting just by having the mines being everywhere and how that plays into everything. And we have those lobbies where, if I get in there and there's just a bunch of average players, then I'm going to shine in that lobby. Just 100%. It's going to happen. I've been a COD YouTuber for 13 years now. I've been playing the franchise for God, don't make me do math, 17 years, something ridiculous, 18 years. It's been a really long time. So in those lobbies, I shine. In the more competitive lobbies, I still do above average, but, I'm brought back down to earth, and those matches are a bit more competitive. And then you have the really competitive matches on occasion, and that difference in outcome every single game is fantastic. The lobbies themselves are so varied, yet at the same time, they are so consistent when skill-based matchmaking is essentially turned off, and players just get in there based on their connection, and they just have at it and may the better better team and the better players win. The lobbies themselves, sometimes we have an absolute blowout where we're just completely dominating the other team. It's not even close. Sometimes we get completely blown out. Sometimes it's really competitive, and sometimes it's in between. That variation is what I miss about matchmaking in COD. I love the fact that every lobby felt different and every lobby felt unique, and I felt like the time that I put into the game and the time I invested into the game was actually doing something for me because I was getting better and I could tangibly see those results in the final scores as well as my own personal gameplay experiences. I think it was Mark Rubin that said, in regards to skill-based matchmaking for XDefiant, which of course that game is like less than 2 weeks away from now. That's gonna be pretty fantastic. I can't wait for that. But I think he said something about when you have skill-based matchmaking being as heavy as what we have in COD, that you basically get the same result every single match. You know, the whole point of skill-based matchmaking essentially, or engagement optimized matchmaking, it's all the same shit, guys. It really is. Just call it whatever you want to call it, but ultimately we all know what we're talking about. When it comes to that, every lobby, they're trying to squish everyone down to 1. Basically, they're trying to push people up to a 1 and push people back down to a 1. So everybody has roughly a 1 KD, roughly a 1 win loss. It doesn't matter how much time you put into the game, how good you got at the game or whatever. They want everybody to basically be the same so that nobody's feelings are hurt. The comparison I give all the time is it's like a participation medal. Back in the day, you know, we had Little League Baseball, and I remember asking my coach, "Hey coach, what's the score?" And he said, "Don't worry about it." I'm like, well, that probably means we're losing. But also, I don't like the fact that you're not telling us the score. Like, what's going on here? So it got to the point where my friends and I would keep track of the score ourselves because the coach wouldn't tell us because he didn't want us to have our feelings hurt because we were losing to a better team. That's nonsense, man. Like, I understand, like, there's a big difference between video games and real life and the harsh realities of the world out there. But when it comes to your online video games, especially one where you're facing other players, you're teaming up with other players, the game should not be holding your hand as much as what we see within the Call of Duty franchise. And so when they do these skill-based matchmaking removal tests, essentially, in game modes like Minefield, holy hell, it just makes everything feel so good again. And it reminds me of why I fell in love with the COD franchise to begin with. Because, you know, you guys look at my level here. I think I just hit level 350, something like that. Like, I don't really play a ton of Modern Warfare 3. I've got to be honest. I'm not grinding the game every single day. I'm making my videos and stuff like that, but I'm not grinding the game. I might hop on for half an hour, or whatever, but I'm not grinding super hard because skill-based matchmaking makes it not fun. Like, I don't want to grind the game. Why would I want to grind the game when that stuff is happening? So I hop on and do my weekly challenges. They have that new weapon mastery challenge, the new camo you can get, which I'm working towards that. I think today I just finished up Interstellar camo on the Ball 27, which has been a lot of fun to use. But overall, I don't grind the game, you know. But regardless of that, all the experience I've picked up over the years playing COD, these past, 15 to 17 years or whatever it's been, you know, all that translates into a game like Modern Warfare 3 here. And even though I don't play nearly as much as the people in my lobby, I'm typically doing better than the people in my lobby because it doesn't matter how much time I put into Modern Warfare 3 specifically, the time I put into COD actually matters because within Minefield, there is no skill-based matchmaking to artificially cap me and just try to ruin my entire experience. So overall, this experiment, I'm truly hoping they're gathering a lot of information from it, and I'm hoping that they see that this is better for the franchise as a whole. Like I said, XDefiant is right around the corner, and of course the big selling point for that game is it's made by ex-COD devs and COD pros, and it's going to be free to play, and little known fact, it's going to have no skill-based matchmaking in it. So I'm hoping that when that game comes out, it's a massive success as a result of its matchmaking system and everything else, of course. And then Activision and Microsoft, they see that, and then maybe perhaps they start to tone down the skill-based matchmaking with COD until they eventually just remove it entirely. But of course, that is probably a pipe dream, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think it's ever going to completely go away, but any movement in the right direction would be fantastic, and I definitely think that would go a long way towards helping revive the COD franchise for so many people. Of course, the series is still very popular. Lots of people still play it, but how many people have quit COD solely because of the matchmaking algorithm and how they basically feel like guinea pigs? Now everything is like a predetermined outcome. You know, maybe some people are joining the COD franchise as a result of this. That's why they do it. They want to protect those new players. But man, how many times do I have to say it? Those new players don't actually give a shit, man. Like, if they weren't COD fans by now, the series just turned 20 years old, for crying out loud. If they weren't already COD fans, why are you trying to get them in there? You already have your core player base. Why push them away for people that you don't even know if they're going to become long-term fans? You already have your long-term fans, yet you're trying to push them away with this matchmaking nonsense. Just not knock it off, honestly. It's getting frustrating, but it is interesting to see game modes like Minefield, which I personally believe do not have skill-based matchmaking in them, and then War, like the new 9v9 War. If you guys haven't tried that, it's really fun if you ask me. I don't think War has any skill-based matchmaking in it either, but then you hop into playlists like, I don't know, the small map Mosh Pit, for example, Search and Destroy, for example, Hardpoint, definitely. Like, it's night and day different. Like, those lobbies are just ridiculously sweaty all the time, but then certain game modes, it's just like, yeah, they didn't even bother putting any matchmaking algorithms into this. They just throw people in there based on connection and let people do what they want, and those are the game modes, when you can find them, that are really fun to play. So expect a lot of Minefield footage here on the channel. I'm curious to see how long it's going to stay and whether or not they're going to continue to tweak the matchmaking within the game mode, but as always, I'll keep you guys posted as we learn more and as more updates come out. But for right now, that's it for this video here today. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments. Thank you all so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.